Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another Community Connections with Ryan Sauers. Super excited to have my guest and colleague, friend, Andre King, in charge of community engagement and college recruiting of Loganville Christian Academy. Andre, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey Ryan, thanks for having us, man. Excited to
You
be here.
you are welcome. I told Andre he got he gets the award of the most emails I had to send out for one guy to make one show for because I scheduled him in the AM and the PM at a certain time. So I think he thought I just wanted him on twice, and that's fine. Andre can talk forever.
Hey, we'll,
Listen,
we'll take it, man. We got to be flexible. We'll take it.
well, I tell you, I was looking up. So you had a background because I told you I'm a sports junkie. So you played a little bit of ball in college and the NFL. I saw.
That's
Congrats.
right. That's right.
I like seeing people with the birth date near mine. That always makes me still older, but we're within a year or two of each other, so that's good. No more
Yeah,
counting candles for us, right?
that's right.
And then but Cheer. I know you were saying you're at Loganville Christian. You've been an athletic director and coach, and you've moved into a new role. So let people know, a little bit about your background and which I know will tie into your past and what you're doing and what you're doing now.
Yeah. Excited to be here. But my career started a very long time ago. I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and started growing up playing baseball, football with the neighborhood kids, just like everybody else does nowadays. And was fortunate enough to continue to play that through high school. Was drafted by my love of my Atlanta Braves. I'm a Brave at heart, true and true. In the 1993 amateur draft, played a few years of minor league baseball. And after 4.5 years, when I saw that the big leagues were not going to be in sight, I went back to college because I made a promise to my parents that once I finished my baseball career, I would get my degree. So I moved back home, attended the University of Miami, walked on the football field there, and played 4 years at Miami at the U, and graduated with a degree in business administration and a minor in sports management in 3 years, and enjoyed my time there. Loved it. Grew exponentially. Made a lot of great friendships, and I was blessed enough to be drafted by the Cleveland Browns in 2001 draft. 10 days before I had my first child, who's now a freshman in college at West Georgia, which is crazy. So time flies. We're old, Ryan. We just gotta say we're old, man.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
And then now after we retired from Cleveland, we moved our family back to the Gwinnett area, and I found Loganville Christian Academy back in 2006, and I enrolled my daughter here at the school as a first grader. And like I said, now she graduated in the 2019 class, and she just finished up her freshman year at West Georgia.
Yeah, well, it is funny, time sure flies. It's the one thing we all know we have. We wish we could get more of it. And yeah, I'm with you. I have three daughters. So my oldest daughter is halfway through Georgia Tech, and so
Ooh.
she is starts her junior year. And I've done. It's funny as we get into the stuff, but I caught up with some of my old fraternity brothers. I went to Mercer University back in the day, and some of us, a couple of us, kept in contact. But we did the Zoom group during this COVID, and it was funny. I'm thinking the stories they were telling. We were younger than my daughter is now, and I'm going, man, where does the time go? But well, that's awesome. So you were near my old stomping grounds. We used to watch the Macon Braves play back in the day when Chipper and those guys were down there. So it was interesting. But let's tell about it. So now you moved into a role which makes complete sense of community engagement and college recruiting. Not only athletically, academically for these kids. And you're trying to really get involved. You were telling me before we went on air with all parts of the community. So tell us about your role today and what you're trying to do for these kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, Christian private education is such a competitive market, and LCA is trying to position ourselves to grow and to be a diverse community, to take our product to the community, because no longer are folks going to just pull down the driveway because we have a nice looking sign out front. We have to be present at Grayson Days, parades, interact and build relationships with community partners such as pastors and church leaders, preschool directors, anyone that has kids around them, students around them that value a Christ-centered education platform. we want to interact with those people. We said LCA, we exist for students academically, spiritually, and socially for God's call in their life, whatever industry that may be after graduation. So when we interact on those three different spokes, we want to just be an encouragement, a partnership with the home, with families looking for just a great environment where kids can learn and that are not distracted by the things that come their way.
That's amazing. Let me ask you a question as I go kind of thinking through some things I want to ask. So what during this time have you had to kind of, I've used this word a lot, pivot a little bit the last few months and how you've been doing stuff? For example, the mayor of Grayson was on here. Oh goodness! A few weeks before we did the Grace Days, and then they ended up. I think they canceled that whenever they canceled that, and so it's been everybody's been kind of reacting and doing the best they can. You were mentioning you've used Zoom for some things. So what have you had to do some things differently during this time?
I'll tell you, Ryan, our 10 years ago when we went to a one-to-one initiative with every student having their own device. Where we didn't want kids walking around the campus carrying textbooks that weighed 65 pounds. I mean, it was crazy.
Workout room.
So we connected with one of our actual parents. He works in the IT realm, and he came on board for a little while, Mr. Brent Browning, and 10 years ago we said, hey, we need to do this. And so we were the first schools in Walton County to go to a one-to-one initiative where kids had the device and the textbooks were on the device. So they had one device that had the content for all 7 classes, which was great. And obviously we improved that, improving our bandwidth and infrastructure here to support the staff and the students. But prior to going into our lockdown with the COVID, it's crazy. We had a briefing with our current IT department on like a Wednesday, saying, hey, okay, teachers, giving you a couple of days warning. We don't know what the governor is going to say or, promote for us to do as in the education space, but just, you never know, treat it like a snow day, get your content up in the cloud, and get ready. And Ryan, Friday, the lockdown happened. And it was like, okay, but our teachers did awesome. Obviously, we learned a lot through that. Some things worked better for some grade levels, and the education space is going to be totally different going forward. Some people like it. Teachers can now know they can record sessions for kids that are injured out of the school. If we ever go to snow day, it's going to be just water off a duck's back. We're going to be able to react and pivot and have our students in the best case scenario possible because of it. So yeah, Zoom meetings. I sat in on a dissection that was happening via Zoom meeting with our biology department. Did awesome. Kids had the materials delivered to their home, and that class just continued. They just weren't in their classroom space here on campus, and it was great. I applaud our faculty, our teachers, our IT realm for having us set up beautifully. It was perfect.
I'll say this real quick, Andre. It's funny you say this. So my wife is an educator. She's moved out of teaching 5th grade, and this year was in a transitionary role. When I say this past school year, the one that seems like it never really ended, but and she was in a role to take over the digital learning, the digital learning person for the school, for an elementary school. And she told me, so this fall, next school year, she would become the full-time one-person digital learning person. And she said they were prepared for a few days, 2-3 snow days for digital learning. And I said, you just got yourself an MBA on the job, because she got thrown into it. But to your point, I just wrote in one of my articles from my magazines, our educators, our students, everybody didn't love it. Some of them loved it, some didn't, but we all did our best. I'm really proud of them too, because I know you saw it, but teachers did, put in amazing hours to get stuff done. And people might not have loved it, but everybody did the best they could.
Yeah, and that's what we're proud of. Learning continued. Yes, it was altered a bit, but learning continued in our environment because number one, I love my summers, and I know the teachers do too. So if learning stopped, then we're gonna have to continue learning over the summer. Nobody wanted that, so we want our pool days. So learning continued, and kids grinded through it. Teachers grinded through it. We applaud our parents for grinding through it because a lot of them were trying to work from home, teach a younger child. hold on to their employment. So proud of the whole aspect. We made it through. Now we're in summer mode, and we all get a breather.
Yeah, my watch keeps telling me to take a breath, and so you got to listen to the watch and listen to your body. And it's been as I do feel though. I was telling you I've done a couple shows today, recording in advance. I feel we're making progress. We're getting there, and I don't know about you, Andre. I mean, I was getting to talk, but how much do you realize you just miss people during this last few months?
We do. We do miss each other because there's a couple times where our different departments met via Zoom, and we even had a lunch Zoom just to see each other's face and catch up. Our administrator, Mrs. Christy Monda, had a full staff Zoom meeting before going into the summer, just so she can see everybody and we can see each other. And the kids miss it too. We've been communicating with some of our parents, just calling them to check in. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? What are you guys doing this weekend? And they're thankful. They're thankful that we're checking in on them. They like hearing a familiar voice. At the end of the year, a few of our faculty members, we cleaned out lockers for the kids and boxed them up, and we had a drive-through locker pickup. And parents came through, and they were just excited just to pull on campus because it felt like home, And
Yeah.
we gave them their students' contents from their lockers, and it was just good for them to go through carpool line and see some familiar faces just to say hi from afar. So yeah, I think a lot of our kids realize now, yes, this generation of kids, they love the social media aspect of their growth, but they also miss seeing each other too, and they miss that one-to-one, face-to-face interaction. So we can't wait to get everybody back on campus in the fall.
Yeah, it's funny because you and I are about a year apart. We grew up, and I can remember phone numbers. I don't know you from friends I grew up with, but I don't know my own kid's phone number because you know what I mean? Because you had,
Everything, just look it up.
yeah, you had things in your head you had to know. And I tell you, I don't know about you, but I saw a lot of people during the time of the good stuff coming out of kids playing in the yard again. Kids.
That's right.
Like how we grew up, you didn't have, you just got out and got a ball and started playing whatever you were doing. And so I'm hoping, this will make the devices I use, but that human element, which I know is a big part of your community engagement, Andre, is the core. And the tools allow us to reach more people, but we don't ever want to lose part of that, human element.
Yeah, that human element is vital. We teach our kids how to interact with one another. You're going to have to do that in the business world. You have to talk to your boss and talk to your colleagues, and be able to dissolve conflict or talk through situations. You can't do that via text. So
Yep.
The one-to-one is important.
Well, you'll find it funny. I had somebody ask me the other day. They were I was helping them with a favor, or it was a new person reaching out to me, and they finally asked me a question on the phone, and they said, "I don't know how to ask you this." I said, "What is it?" And they're like, "Do you text?" I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Okay, good. We just didn't want to know if you knew how to do that." I'm like, "Well, I'm not like 90. I mean, but yeah, it is. But yeah, I keep telling people, talking to people and having that communication. Hopefully, this time is going to turn out to be a positive. I see it that way. That we were forced to have some downtime, and I hope we've all learned about ourselves a little bit more. Let me ask you, before I forget, Andre, what is the best way for people to reach you or reach Loganville Christian Academy?
Yeah, the best way is just to hop on our website, lcalines.com, lcalines.com. You'll hop on there. You can take a virtual tour of the school. Right now, there's an awesome video up. We can do Zoom chats. I think we're opening up. We've been given in-person tours. So if you hop on lcalines.com and just hit a quick link and contact us, somebody will reach out to you within a day or so and get you connected and answer any questions that you may have about our school, our environment. And we love to show you around. So come on out.
All right, very good. And I guess as we kind of come to a close here, you and I can talk forever, and I will look forward to seeing you in person because that's something I'm missing with. I've got now about 500 people in the hopper that I promised to, but I'm looking forward. I miss people, and I'm sure glad to connect with you through Zoom. One other things, if there's a couple other things you want to make sure today our audience, which is local and wide throughout the country, that they know about what you're doing, about Loganville Christian, anything that you want to make sure they hear.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, just let everybody know. Obviously, we're here. We're in the private education sector. We're private Christian school. We're teaching academics and athletics associated through a biblical worldview. It's a rigorous educational platform. We started pre-K through 12th grade. It's a college preparatory program. 100% of our kids get accepted to a college or university once they walk across our stage. It's a partnership with our parents. You know, this class alone, class of 2020, garnered over $2 million of academic and athletic scholarship aid once they leave here. There's dual enrollment options. There's so many things that our kids that are afforded to our kids in our space. Even going to next school year coming out of COVID, not sure what that looks like. Being in the private sector, we're able to pivot and control our own future, so to speak, as the market or as the governor says. So we're looking at anything from coming back to 5-day a week in the classroom space as we once knew of it to online learning like we did. So we can land anywhere in between. And recently went through a survey process with our parents and teachers. So we're going through that right now to see how people feel, what's the temperature, because everybody's got to get back into it at their own pace. Thankfully, none of our school has not been impacted by the COVID. Not our grandparents, students, parents have been impacted. We're praying for those that have been, but we definitely have a distinct advantage in the area where we can be flexible in our next steps. But time's on our side. It's June, and we're not planning to open back the second, third week of August. So hopefully things will calm down and we're able to make a wise decision going forward that's best for our student athletes and our families and students and our families. So know that we're here. Again, anyone can reach us 24/7, lcalliance.com, and come on out and experience a great environment where kids are learning and achieving their goals and getting into the colleges and universities of their choice.
Well, Andre, you can't say any better, man. You work at a phenomenal place, and you're doing an amazing job. I just appreciate you again with the 800 emails I had to set you to get on the show. Appreciate you bearing with me, and I'm going to close this down here. But Andre, my friend, thank you for coming on the Community Connection Show.
Yes, thanks for having us, Ryan. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. This is Andre King, in charge of community engagement and college recruiting at Loganville Christian Academy, is my guest. This has been another Community Connections with Ryan Sauers. Thanks for tuning in, folks, and we will see you next time.